do a little introduction for us.
Sure, I'm happy to. So hi everybody, I'm Dominic. As Yashin just said, I'm the CTO of Diode, and I'm really happy to have you all here for our second webinar today. So last time in our first webinar, we looked at how you can use a Diode mesh network to SSH into your Raspberry Pi from a remote location. So we're doing that all the time because we have these Raspberry Pis in Taipei and in Berlin and in our different office locations. And no matter where we are, we can remotely connect to those Raspberry Pis. But today we want to show the opposite path. So we take some data from the Raspberry Pi, some video data, and then we send it up to the Diode mesh network, and we show how that is replicating that data. So not only one time, but many, many times. And so for the video streams of the Raspberry Pi, that means that even though the capacity and the CPU of the Raspberry Pi is pretty limited, you can actually stream it to hundreds or thousands of people because you leverage the Diode mesh network. And I'm extremely pumped about this, and I hope you guys are. And we have spent quite some work into making it super easy with the Diode CLI. And with no further ado, I think I just want to hand it over to Peter and get started with this.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna check whether people are coming in. All right. So yes, I'll introduce Peter very quickly. So Peter is our software engineer. He's a blockchain engineer in Taipei. We have in Taipei office. He has a background in business management, business administration, and he sort of taught himself how to program, which means that he's a very talented engineer. And I'm happy to have you here.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Peter, and thanks Yashin, and thanks for everyone to joining this event. Today, I'd like to talk about how to publish Raspberry Pi video streaming to the Diode network.
How?
Okay. So I'm currently working at Diode as blockchain engineer, and love to learn new technology. So before we go through the steps, I'm going to demo the video streaming first. Here we've got a Pi setup in our Berlin office and another Pi setup in our Taipei office. Let's see the Pi Taipei camera video streaming. So here I'm going to open Pi Taipei. I'm going to type Pi Taipei.z.link. Ooh, it takes some time.
It says good evening, Yashin.
Yeah, so let me type. Well, I should type photo stuff. Ooh. Okay, so the video streaming that we are seeing now is going through the Diode network. So you can broadcast it to multiple clients, and the data streaming is buffered in that network. So I'm going to show you in different tabs. So now you can see the video works in two clients. So I'm going to close this and back to presentation. Okay. To get the Raspberry Pi video streaming started, you will need to attach the camera module to the Pi board. The picture on the left is camera module, and the picture on the right is Pi 0 that we have already set up in Taipei office. The next step is to enable your camera module in your Pi board. So now you can open a terminal and type sudo raspi config and choose interface options to enable your camera module. Okay. Once you've enabled the camera support, what you can do is you can do the video streaming using Raspberry Pi. So open terminal and type raspi v tag t 0 tag fps 12 tag n tag l and tag output to 0.0.0.0 port 3030. I'm using 0.0.0.0 instead of localhost for demo purpose. Because the data is not encrypted, there may be some security risks for users, so I don't recommend it. Then you can open VLC or MPlayer to play the video stream. I'm using MPlayer and netcat in this demo. Just open terminal and type netcat price IP 3030 and pipe to MPlayer. And this is the screenshot that I took with my Pi. Remember that Raspi V only allows one client to connect. So we've got the streaming set up on our Pi. Here's an important step to follow. We can now publish the video streaming through that network. And why would you want to do that? Because we use TLS encryption. It's more secure for users, and we have broadcast functionality so that you can provide video streaming to multiple clients at the same time. Just go to website and to the download page, download that clients, the latest binary for your Raspberry Pi. And you can also download that binary with curl command on your Pi. Just type curl tag ssf and diode.io /install.sh and pipe to sh. If you are more of a pro, that is an open source software. You can clone and build it from our source code. Oh, sorry. After that setup on Pi, you can open terminal and type that publish tag public 3030 to 3030 to publish video streaming to that network. And this command binds your local port to that port and will publish as public so anyone can view it. Can also use protected or private if you want. Now you can use our Diode POC website to play with the video streaming in a web browser, which is what I have just showed in the demo. We have bundled and released the files of that POC website. Just go to our GitHub release page and download it. Note that you have to host the website first. Just choose your favorite web host, like Apache, like TBD, or Nginx. And you can use rsync or scp command to upload the bundled website files to the Pi. And now your website address can use a human readable name. You can register your block name system custom domains in our diode.io prenet /DNS. Or you can just use command, open your terminal and type that DNS tag register and name to your address. So I choose dev SC0VU as my BNS name. So now I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks very much, Peter. Can we go back to the last slide?
Or
the slide where
so
it says download or something?
Oh, the download slide.
Maybe just go back. Yeah. So I think what I'll do is I'll go to this page.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think this page. Yeah.
And then present. And then I think a few people are coming in. I remember somebody wanted to join. Well, I hope he comes back. Because I remember I saw somebody who wanted to join. So this is the website that I encourage you to visit right now. It's our GitHub page, the GitHub project, which is Diode chain and /Diode_Go_client. And so I'm curious whether Peter's talk was clear enough or not. I'm just curious about other people who are joining the meeting right now. Maybe Lily or Tristan or anybody. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, we're happy to answer it right now.
Hi, this is from Lily. I don't have questions, thank you. You've explained clearly. Thank you.
Anyone who has questions and who would just like to go ahead and ask it?
Yes, my name is Vincent. I am a programmer. I would like to know if it is possible to get more details about what you said earlier, where you said from the Raspberry Pi, you can broadcast one video, and thanks to the Diode network, it can be broadcasted to a lot more computers. How does this happen?
Yeah, Dominic, would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, sure. This is a good question. So we're using, when we use Diode, we're using this on top of some of the existing tools. So last time we used like SSH, and then we showed how you can connect to the SSH ports. And in this demo, we're using for the video to be produced Raspberry, which is like a tool that is bundled with the Raspberry Pi already. And that's the same tool that Peter was just showed. The nice thing about Raspberry is it streams live with relatively low latency, but the big downside is it does only support a single connection at a time. So if you just use that pure, you only have a single connection, you only have local hosts, and you have no encryption or whatsoever. So what's happening here is that we take that stream and we bind it to a shared Diode port, that's how we call it. And so that sends it up to any of the Diode mesh network servers, and they distribute that out to anyone who's requesting that data. So everybody gets the same copy of the data, even though the Raspberry Pi is only shipping one. And so when Peter actually was showing those two windows, you can see that the data those two windows are receiving is actually exactly the same, byte by byte the same. That makes sense.
Does that make sense, Vincent?
Yeah. If I understand well, the more computers are on the Diode network, the more clients you can support.
Yeah, it's like exactly. So really, the Diode mesh network is like two layers, and so you have these relay hosts, and the more we have of the relay hosts, the more we can serve traffic, and then you have pure consuming clients, like the Raspberry Pi, for example, is only consuming, and so the more we have of the relay hosts, and you can also host one yourself, the higher is the capacity of the network.
Okay, thank you.
I wonder, yeah, because Vincent, I think you have tried it before, right? Already give it a go.
Yeah, I tried it before and I ran into some very small bugs. So I did not try it since. So maybe I will try it again this weekend.
Yeah, let us know how it goes. Um, yeah, I was wondering because I saw another. I'm not sure if he's an engineer or not. I think it was Alex.
Oh,
So I can't remember the names, but I'm sure there are other engineers in this call, and I'm sure you have questions, and I'd like to invite you to go ahead and ask it right now. Maybe, I don't know, Tristan, maybe?
Yeah, there was Tristan, and I saw also Alec.
Yeah.
Alec Johansson.
Anybody who?
If you have any questions.
Yeah.
Thank for me at my side it was clear. So yeah, no problem. Thank you.
I think that was Tristan.
yeah. Sounds like Tristan.
Thanks for coming to our event.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I've got a few questions that are collected prior to this event, and maybe we can just go ahead and take a look at those. And of course, if you have any questions along the way, or any questions just came into your mind, and we are happy to just interrupt me anytime. So the question I got was how to compile binary files on a Raspberry Pi in a more efficient way, and I wonder if Dominic has any thoughts on this.
Yeah, this is a good question. Like, if you compile directly on a Raspberry Pi, obviously that's like the standard way, but it takes a long time. So when we compile, for example, the Go client that we have, and we compile it, and it's fetching all the dependencies, it can take like 20 minutes. So that's a pretty long time to wait for compiling something. And so there's basically like two ways to do that. One is you compile on a faster Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi 4 is actually much faster than Raspberry Pi 1. So that's like the easy part, the upgrade path. The second option is to cross-compile. That means you compile, for example, on your laptop or at some other computer like your desktop that's really fast. But then you have to follow the guide depending on which language you use. So for C++, there's a cross-compiling suite that is different from Go. In Go, it's actually easier because it's mostly built in. And then for Rust, there's another one, and we've linked those three below here. So you can cross-compile. We're also doing cross-compile for the Diode client. So actually, every time we build, there's like a cross-compile to compile this on Raspberry Pi.
And here's another question I've got was, so is the video streaming content stored on Diode's blockchain network?
Yeah, this is a good question. I think it's really important to see this difference between IPFS and Diode. Well, IPFS is like a public storage network where you can upload videos or talks or Wikipedia kind of content, and it stays there forever and it's available to everybody. And then Diode, on the other side, that is a live broadcast network. So you can use that for secret data, you can use it for privately and end-to-end encrypted data, and for something that's just going over the network, but then is gone. And so we don't store any video data in the mesh network. It's all only being transported from A to B. There's some buffering happening when we do shared content, for example, but there's no live storage and no storage for that afterwards. And this enables us, for example, to do this live broadcasting. So from one to many endpoints of the live data.
So I just let a few more friends coming in. And if you have any questions in your mind right now, please don't hesitate to ask us. I think the purpose of this call is to answer questions from you guys. So it's really less about presentation and slides and we've got prepared, but it's more like we want to have this discussion and have feedback from people. So the next question I have is like one common way to do Raspberry Pi's video streaming via TCP is to use the respivot command, right? So how is Diode different from this commonly used command?
Yeah, exactly. So it was similar to the question that Vincent earlier asked. So I think it's important to see that we're using Diode on top of these existing commands. So everything, and I think that's really important because everything that is an existing traditional command and that's using TCP/IP, you can imagine that like a layer. Everything that is using TCP/IP today is compatible with the Diode network. And so it's kind of a supercharging. We actually, in fact, do use the Raspberry bit, but we, on top of that, add the Diode benefits. And so you get like a human readable name because we can actually register that one device using the blockchain name system. We can encrypt any content we distribute, and we can do the access control. So we can ensure, oh, this goes to everybody. I want the whole internet to see it, or I can say I want only my small group to see it, or I only want like individuals to be able to see it. And as we showed here, you can actually broadcast it so that many, many people can see it, this data duplication. And so this is really what we add on top, but we actually reuse the existing commands. So it's building on top. So in whatever favorite tool you have and you do on your Raspberry Pi, whether it's humidity data or temperature data or whatever you choose, or maybe smog data, you can also supercharge that with a network.
Is that understandable for and in 10 minutes? Oh no.
Good.
So yeah, so let's go ahead and do this one. So I've got this podcast friend who's doing a podcast, and he's doing a podcast. He's a podcast host. He asks if it is possible to publish my podcast to Diode.
Yeah, I think that's totally possible. I would say so that if you want to have a podcast that you want to live distribute to people, then this makes a ton of sense. If your podcast is like a radio show, like it's at a certain time at a certain date, and everybody's waiting for it, and you turn it into a live event, then you can absolutely do that with the Diode network. And I think for that, it's great. If you have a podcast that you want to archive, or you want to do both, first you have a live streaming and then you archive it later on, then I would suggest for the archiving and for the later watching to use something different. You could use IPFS, for example, for the later consumption, or you can just upload it to Spotify or your favorite other platform. But for the live broadcasting, for sure, use the Diode network.
Yes. And here's the last question I had. So Raspberry Pi users, and why would you want to use Diode network when you can easily use SSH over a local network?
Yeah, exactly. As I said, so SSH is also what we use, but the local network is the problem. On the local network, just go ahead, SSH locally to your Raspberry Pi. That's not an issue. That's what you should be doing. Now, the Diode network adds a second layer of encryption that in case of SSH, you don't really need. But the important thing is that you can get the reachability. So it's supercharging SSH also. It's adding that layer on top. And we have, for all our Raspberry Pi set up, actually BNS names. So we can, from anywhere on the planet, log into those different Raspberry Pis, no matter where they are. And that's extremely helpful because right now I'm not near those Raspberry Pis, but I can still log in, debug SCP data to them and such without needing to be there. And still it's secure.
So we've got upcoming events, which is 29th in July on Wednesday, and it's going to be the Bangkok Blockchain Enterprise meetup that we are having. And so Dominic will be speaking about Diode and the technology behind Diode on 29th of July. And there's another one in August, which is the Web3 meetup that we're going to co-organize. The topic is about Web3. And so we are inviting Web3 companies, like blockchain companies who are building Web3 infrastructure, to join this event. So if you want to join, I'd like you to contact us via Twitter message or Telegram. group that we have, and we've got the Raspberry Pi giveaways. This is the Raspberry Pi that we'll be giving away, and I've got one assembled right here. I'm not a tech person, but I try to explore it. So I've actually, I actually took 2 weeks for me, in addition to a full-time job, to actually assemble this thing and like set it up and install everything, including like TPG, HTTP, TPG, and supervisor D, right? Yeah, like a bunch of tools. Yeah. So if you want to win this, please contact us and like please go visit our website and download it and like try it out. So we will happy to give away. So I'll be seeing you guys soon, I hope. And thanks for coming.
Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
哦，所以你是不是要先 stop streaming 还是怎么样？
Yeah， 我先 stop 哪一个？哎，我要先 stop 哪一个？
你已经关了嘛，所以现在就是 stop streaming。
OBS。